The Jets seem like they keep getting in their own way. They got eliminated from the playoffs after their overtime loss against the Miami Dolphins, and now this is the longest active playoff drought streak in the 4 major sports. And we've heard so much negativity from the Jets, this season. We have Woody Johnson reports that they wanted to bench Rodgers after their loss overseas against the Minnesota Vikings. Then we hear that the players wanted the season to be over already. You hear Rodgers, upset after every loss, even though he's not playing well. And then the past couple weeks, they're winning, they look great, and in the second half, a complete collapse. So, John, they have a head coaching opening. I'm going to show this to our viewers. There's a head coach opening right now. Jets, Saints, and Bears all have head coach openings. You fired Robert Saleh. Defense plummeted. Jeff Ulbrich does not bring the same, I think, level of coaching defensively or offensively that Robert Saleh did. So I know you're not, an analyst or an insider on this, John, but your opinion, lifelong Jets fan, seeing them crumble time after time again. What should the Jets' next move be?
Lose out. Get the highest possible draft pick. Just accept that this season is over. I mean, what sense is there in playing for 1 or 2 more wins and get pick 10 instead of pick 4 or 5?
I agree with you 100%. What do you think about Aaron Rodgers? Is he a goner?
No, not is he. Should he come back? Do you want him back?
If he's coming back, I don't envision him starting the whole year. I think the Jets need somebody who can guide someone else along. They need to sign somebody on the younger side or draft someone with a high pick and just give them the reins about halfway through next season and just let it ride there. If Rodgers wants to be that guy, that would be great. If not, find someone else.
I would say his ego wouldn't allow that. I don't see him being wanted to be a bridge quarterback.
Well, hold on. I'm going to take accountability. I'm going to call you out on this. You did say that they might want to bring back Rodgers if he were to be that bridge guy last show.
No, I said at the Giants, not at the Jets.
Still, though, it's a bridge quarterback somewhere.
But I think that my thinking there was that Rodgers' ego is so big that he'll think, they're thinking they're bringing me in as a bridge quarterback, but I'm going to play so great that they won't be able to sit me down. That's how I'm thinking. He might accept that kind of situation. That would be the only way think he might do it.
Rodgers is mad after he performs poorly and won't accept true accountability. Like that's my what does and here's the big thing. What does Rodgers bring now?
Old
experience.
Age.
That's it. Experience. But he doesn't perform well. He doesn't move well.
He actually played well on Sunday, right? He had over 300 yards passing.
This is the first time in 35 games in 1,000 days.
He did do it. I mean, the game actually, he was a positive factor in that game. And if somebody thinks he's still got something in the tank, Bill Belichick thinks he still has something in the tank. He thinks the injury is lingering on him. If he can get himself really healthy, that he might be someone who could still do it.
Well, that's what I'm getting at. Is I think it makes sense to say, look, you can stay. We'll let you run the show. But at the same time, if you continue to show signs of slipping, the team's not playing well, then at a certain point, we both need to be realistic here. Look, you want to get the last bit of football out of yourself, and we're running a team here. So considering you're in your 40s, at a certain point, we need to plan for this.
Well,
he can agree to it or not.
Sorry, John. If Rodgers goes, Adams is gone.
Truthfully, I don't think that's the biggest concern for me, because ultimately, what does that really matter? If we have a young quarterback, we already have a great wide receiver. I'd rather them develop him, let him really run the show, rather than have another star and they're all just fighting each other for yards here and there.
Well, I think right now, if you're a budding new head coach, so Ben Johnson, Joe Brady's out there, if I'm looking and I'm a new head coach about to enter the arena here and I'm looking at the Jets situation, they have no GM. They're going to need to pay Sauce Gardner, Breece Hall, and Garrett Wilson very soon. The defense has regressed massively. The offensive line on paper looked good enough, and it's not that great. And I don't know if a 41-year-old quarterback's going to be my quarterback, and even if he is, he's not a positive influence in my locker room. So I think, I think Mike Vrabel would be great for a number of these places that need a culture builder. I think the Bears, Mike Vrabel would be a great piece there. I think the Jets, Mike Vrabel would be a perfectly fine piece there because he would be, in my opinion, a better version of Robert Saleh, a defensive head coach, but he builds a winning culture. He did that with Tennessee.
I would agree with you. I think Vrabel would be my choice of the next head coach. The Jets have proven, if nothing else, that they really need a strong defensive presence, or their defense is going to show considerable signs of regression. So having a defensive head coach who really knows what they're doing is pretty key here, and they just need to find a strong offensive coordinator to run the show, someone who works well with whoever ends up being there.
So not Nathaniel Hackett.
Preferably not Nathaniel Hackett. No.
I think Todd Downing's doing a much better job. That's what I think. I'd be okay with Todd Downing, keeping that position.
I bet he won't have it. I don't think they'll have him.
Depends on your options.
I don't think so either.
He did well. He did okay on Sunday, but prior to that, he hasn't done well. He's not been any better than Hackett.
He's got a quarterback that is a horrible influence and is 41 years old, doesn't move well. And here's something I think actually nobody talks about. Rodgers in the clutch is not that good. There have been several opportunities this season. I think there's 5 or 6 late game drives where Rodgers could tie the game or win it, and he throws a pick, he takes a sack, or time runs out. He's not that clutch. And I think as the years go on, at one point can we say that this is affecting what a lot of people would say is a first ballot Hall of Fame resume. And that's also just based on primarily MVP awards. That's it. Doesn't have the Super Bowls, doesn't have the playoff wins.
He has one Super Bowl win.
13 years ago?
Yeah, but he has 4 MVPs too. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer, no doubt. He's going to get it. In the first ballot.
I think if he let's say he comes back for another season and performs the exact same way as he has this past season,
then
in
he should
2022.
retire.
Well, no, what I'm saying is, can we say that this has a negative impact on his career, on his legacy?
I don't know.
A negative impact on his legacy a little bit.
Brett Favre didn't do so hot when he was with the Jets. It didn't really tarnish his.
But hold on. He went over to the Minnesota Vikings and made it to an NFC championship game, I think.
Through an interception that cost him the game.
Right, but the fact that he was actually able to get there, and if I'm not mistaken, I could look it up very quickly. I think he was in the MVP consideration as well those past 2 seasons. Yeah, his first season with Minnesota, he was 4th in MVP. He also made a Pro Bowl. And was also, I don't know how, he also got a Pro Bowl with the Jets as well. He had 22 touchdowns, 22 picks. Yikes.
Well, the Pro Bowl isn't exactly the best way of looking at things. People are getting in.
Back then it was worth something, John. Today you have the Pro Bowl games and flag football. Mac Jones made a Pro Bowl. Geno Smith made a Pro Bowl, and Tyler Huntley made a Pro Bowl. So I think it's fair to say back then it meant something.
I don't disagree with that, but I still wouldn't use that as your main baseline of performance.
MVP, he was the 4th in MVP voting at age 40. Rodgers isn't even sniffing that with his performance this season and his last season in Green Bay. He's not a good quarterback anymore.
Yeah. It's very surprising that the Jets are going to have a worse record than they did last year when Zach Wilson was their quarterback. Zach Wilson
has performed better with a coach that got fired and an offensive coordinator that currently isn't there anymore. Mm-hmm. Or is not in the same role anymore.
I don't think Woody Johnson wants Aaron Rodgers back. No. I think that they had this conversation the day before Saleh was fired. I'm pretty sure it was Rodgers that was in his ear about firing Saleh. And he did it, and that was a mistake. He should never have fired him. That was a big mistake.
I think Woody knows that, too, which is part of it. But yeah. Nate, who do you picture the Jets' opening day quarterback being next year?
Well, currently, as it stands, they have the 7th overall pick in this draft. But here's the thing. If they lose out, and let's say picks 3 to 6 win a single game, they would jump to the number 3 overall pick. Because draft picks 3 to 8 all have 3-10 records. A lot of terrible teams in the NFL this season. If the
No
Jets,
kidding.
let's go positive. We've just been negative for the past 10 minutes, I would say. Let's go positive. Let's say the Jets have the 3rd overall pick, and let's say the Giants in Las Vegas have number 1 and 2 as they currently do right now. I think that's Shedeur Sanders gone, Cam Ward gone. If I'm the New York Jets, I'd trade back in the first round. I try to get draft capital because I know Carson Beck, he's not going to be a top 10 pick. He's playing way too inconsistently. Jalen Milroe had a great start to the college season, but recently he hasn't been tremendous. I think you can get him later on in the first round. I would say rookie quarterback starts week 1 for the New York Jets. Who is it? I'm not entirely sure. But I do think you trade back if you have a top 3 pick because you could get both those quarterbacks. Because the NFL, I think right now, if you look at the NFL as it currently stands right now, Tennessee and Cleveland will be shocking in the first round, but they might. And then you could argue New Orleans, but they're paying Derek Carr right now. There's not many teams that desperately need a quarterback, but luckily for the Jets, the top 2 teams do. Las Vegas and New York, they both need quarterbacks. Rookie quarterback starts week 1, though, to answer your question. I'm not sure who. It wouldn't be Shedeur or Cam Ward.
I think if it's neither of them, then it's not going to be a rookie that starts.
You think Rodgers? Oh, well, this will be complete jokes and just for, literally just for jokes. The Vikings, I saw a report today, they're not going to keep Sam Darnold. Is there a reunion with Sam Darnold and the Jets?
I think there's a world where the Jets would consider signing Sam Darnold.
I don't know. I'm not sure Sam Darnold will want to come back to the New York Jets.
Well, how about another former Jet, Geno Smith? I don't expect the Seahawks to keep him.
Yeah.
So is there a world considered
he's
he's 34 where they bring him in?
John.
Because, what was that?
You would need to trade for Geno. He's still under contract.
Yes, but I would be open to that considering he's in his mid-30s. He could really serve as a bridge quarterback for a couple of years. His play has been more than serviceable for the last several years.
I'm not sure he'd want to come back there either. He had a pretty bad experience with the Jets.
They're seeing ghosts. I remember that game. Oh, that was bad.
Well, I'm talking about Geno Smith.
That was Darnold.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Sam Darnold. My fault. But hold on.
Well,
in Darnold's
Geno
defense,
is much further removed.
Well, yes, but in Darnold's defense, I think Darnold would be a better option if I'm comparing the two because Geno is a very consistent level of okay. Darnold fluctuates, but his highs are very high, as we just saw. 5 touchdowns over 300 yards. He played phenomenal football this past week. In Darnold's defense, Adam Gase was his head coach. Adam Gase should have got fired 2 years before he actually did.
Yeah, and I think that Kevin O'Connell is a special head coach when it comes to quarterbacks. Look what he's been able to do. I think that look at Kirk Cousins this year. He's terrible. Look at Sam Darnold. What he's resurrected his career. It's with O'Connell as his coach. I think
he has.
And now they have what's his name for the Giants? Daniel Jones. Now he's going to be there, and he'll wind up being the bridge quarterback to J.J. McCarthy. That's what's going to happen, I think.
Not a chance.
I do agree with you on that. I think that Jones may very well compete for the day one starting job just because McCarthy's got so little experience.
Oh, that
and
John,
he's coming back. He's coming
take.
back from a knee injury.
That's
too.
a bad take. I'm sorry. In that defense as well, he also needed to get a second surgery because of inflammation on his first surgery. But saying that Daniel Jones is going to compete for the day one job, I
think he'll get it. I think he'll be the starting quarterback of the Vikings next year for the first 6 games or so. If J.J. McCarthy's, they're going to groom him to be.
Why not bring back Sam Darnold?
Because Sam Darnold wants to be the starter for the whole year.
They could franchise tag him. Hold on. Why are we even debating that? They could just franchise tag him, and then once
JJ McCarthy, they're going to have to pay him a huge amount of money.
For 41,
why would they have brought Daniel Jones in?
Because who's
on
your backup?
Such a small contract if they were planning to just franchise Sam Darnold?
Because who's your
then
backup?
they wouldn't
Nick
have needed
Mullins?
him. Well, fair enough, but still. I mean, I think that the intention of bringing Jones in versus anybody else was because there's a chance he'd be on the roster down the line.
I can't see Daniel Jones suiting up in the purple and gold week 1 against whoever.
Well, why did they go get him? Why
Because
do they have him?
Nick Mullins is your backup quarterback.
No, but
Well, when you compare Daniel Jones's resume before he signed with the Vikings to what Sam Darnold had done before signing with the Vikings, I mean, Sam Darnold's best resume item was serving as the backup quarterback for the 49ers, who are known as
I'm sure Kevin O'Connell thinks I can make Daniel Jones into at least as good as Sam Darnold. That's what he's thinking.
I agree with that.
What are we doing? What are we doing? Daniel Jones is a horrible. The Giants have a good left tackle in Andrew Thomas. They got him a star rookie receiver. They increased the firepower of the defensive line. They were the number 1 team in sacks through the first 4 or 5 weeks of the season. And we're saying that and Daniel Jones crapped the bed over and over again. And they also not only do they have a solidified left tackle in Andrew Thomas, they bolstered the offensive line. It's the best offensive line since probably 2016.
He played well the first few games too, and then Thomas got hurt.
Week
right?
1 against the Vikings, he couldn't see the field. We covered that game. He couldn't see the field for anything. And we're saying that Kevin, like Sam Darnold, at least showed a little bit of promise in Carolina. He actually went toe to toe with Brady that final year. So there's something in Sam Darnold that was there, because he went 8-9 in Carolina with that team I'm forgetting the head coach before when Ron Rivera got fired. Matt Rule is your head coach. He gets fired midseason. Frank Reich's your head coach. He gets fired midseason.
Frank Reich, I don't even think he made it a month.
Like Sam Darnold did a perfectly okay job. Daniel Jones, what has he done? His best season was 15 passing touchdowns and 5 interceptions.
I mean,
Sam Darnold
here's the
was
short
19 and 17 in his first 2 years with Adam Gase as a head coach.
How many rushing yards did Daniel Jones have that year?
The rushing yards.
Yeah, he did well. He had a good year that year.
The defense of Daniel Jones, I will not accept that.
I guarantee you, Kevin O'Connell sees something in Daniel Jones that he thinks he can be at least as good as Sam Darnold. And he's going to be the bridge quarterback to J.J. McCarthy.
Crazy.
He's going to be the bridge quarterback to J.J. McCarthy.
Okay.
You wait and see. I predict it, Nate. I can remember you saying that Baker Mayfield would never start another game in the NFL, and look what he's doing now. Right? Huh?
I can't believe this. Yeah, but hold on. Baker Mayfield made it to a playoffs with the Browns and won a playoff game. That was perfect.
So did Daniel Jones.
Daniel Jones
won a playoff game.
Hold on. Daniel Jones went up against the 11-0 Minnesota Vikings.
Thanks for making our case.
Daniel Jones went up against the 11-0 Minnesota Vikings, who had the 30th ranked defense, and beat them. That's perfectly fine with me. And that was also his best year with Saquon Barkley playing at the top of his game with the New York Giants. This is what we're arguing here. The Minnesota Vikings have a rookie quarterback that they drafted in the first round. Yes, he did tear his meniscus and he's out for this past season. And Sam Darnold played very well because he is a decent quarterback. We're seeing Kevin O'Connell did exactly what he needed to do with Sam Darnold. He left him a little bit reckless, but refined his game just enough to put him to an 11-2 record, having a 68% completion percentage, 3,300 yards essentially, 28 touchdowns, 10 picks. Daniel Jones doesn't throw the ball downfield. We saw. Have this.
Maybe he would if he had Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison and T.J. Hawkinson as his pass receivers. Huh? Maybe.
You know what?
So I think it's in my mind. I'm not sure who the Jets quarterback is going to be next year. I don't know who it's going to be. I think if it's a rookie, it's not going to be one of the elite rookies who they think is going to be an elite. So would they want to do that? John doesn't think they would, and I kind of agree with him. But who would they get? Who would they bring in? Jimmy Garoppolo?
No.
Huh? I don't know.
I would prefer not.
That's a worse.
But who else is out there? Sam Darnold, but he's probably not going to want to come there. Geno Smith, he's probably not going to come back either. Those guys had bad experiences in New York. They're going to have other offers. So who would the Jets going to have?
Is there a world in which the Jets trade for Kirk Cousins?
Kirk Cousins, yeah, maybe.
Because if they put Penix in at the start of next year,
Yeah.
I think the past 4 games, no touchdowns, 8 picks. I don't hate that take, John. That I don't hate.
Yeah.
Daniel
And
Jones, the next star of the Minnesota Vikings.
The problem there is Kirk Cousins got a huge contract, right? And he hasn't played well, and he's old. He's getting old too.
Yeah, in the same offseason, though, we have to realize that he did sign that massive contract, or massive relative contract, and also drafted a quarterback within the top 8 picks in the same offseason.
Right.
Well, they're probably feeling good about that now because Kirk Cousins has been thrown 8 interceptions and no touchdown passes the last 4 games. Yeah. Okay, well, that's something to think about. Who is going to be the Jets quarterback next year?
Hi, everybody. Thank you for watching this clip of the Harvey Hour. If you want to watch the full show, you can by clicking the I in the top right-hand corner right now. If you want to take the show with you on the go, it is available wherever you get your podcast. We go live here on YouTube every single Tuesday and Friday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, so make sure you hit that like button, that subscribe button, and the notification bell to get notified whenever we upload a video and whenever we go live.